Welcome to WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca. It's the final day, the final time the Twins will hit the track in 2020 here at MotoAmerica. Stop number 9, there's your top qualifier, Cooper McDonald, son of 250 AMA champion Sam McDonald, and was the happiest man in this entire facility the past 2 days. Welcome to Laguna Seca. Welcome inside our booth to a Super Sport champ to my right, Roger Hayden. I'm Robbie Floyd, and I say that with Cooper McDonald and the lineage, and his father and his uncle raced before him, and now it's Cooper's turn. And I literally went to ask Sam this morning, what time did Cooper go to bed? And he said, well, at 11 o'clock, the news was on, and Cooper was still up. Cooper pops out of the truck, and I said, Coop, what time did you go to bed? 1 a.m. and he was up at 6 a.m.
He's the most excited person here and also the most nervous person here. I mean, he's just so excited. He's got good pace. He feels like he can win, and I know exactly how he feels. It's always when you think it's going to be your day, you're going to be the first one, and you get excited. You can't sleep, and I don't know. I talked to him last night too, and
it's like talking him off his ledge already. He hadn't even got out to the track. I'm like, you're not going to win it in that first lap, but you can definitely lose it. We've seen it other times and other competitors this weekend, but he had all the aspirations to be up there with this guy, Rocco Landers, the 97. He can wear that number 1 next year. Extremely dominant in 2020.
I mean, all year he's been the guy to beat. Caleb DeCarroll, though, started out really strong, and even at Barber, Caleb was really fast, and he's kind of been, the next guy behind Rocco Landers. But he's had a good year. Caleb's had a great year after taking a little bit of time away and then coming back. And I don't think any of us expected him to have the speed that he had at Barber and also at WeatherTech. But Rocco is just really strong, and he's been like that all year.
Yeah, Caleb DeCarroll's really been the only one to beat Rocco Landers this season. Did most of those at WeatherTech. We saw, I think it was also a Jackson Blackman entry. He got up there in the top 3 one time, got by Rocco. You look at the track here, built in 1957, one of the most famous tracks in the world.
A lot of up and down, even the braking is downhill for turn 2, and then we got a couple flat corners, 3 and 4, then one of the good passing zones, turn 5. After turn 5, it's when it starts going up. Turn 6 is important because out of there you get to run up to the corkscrew, and turn 7 and 8 is blind going up there. And once you get through the corkscrew, which is a 3-story drop, it's downhill. Turn 9, Rennie curve. If you're in second, you want to get a good run out of turn 10 because your last chance is the last corner, turn 11, which is a tight left-hander, and you will see some passes in that one.
It's going to be a fun one. And think about this class. We talk about Cooper McDonald being the top qualifier. Rocco Landers, Caleb DeCarroll going to be on that front row. Dominic Doyle starting on that second row. These top 4 are separated by 0.4 of a second. I'm expecting this to be really, really close. This should be fun, especially when Caleb DeCarroll, last year's winner, had to work his way up from 12th. He's got that same setup he had last year. There's Caleb DeCarroll. We know he can make some passes on this track.
And we've seen him make some passes all year. And I guess the biggest thing for these guys is, Rocco a lot of times gets a start, and he can do the pace from the very first lap. So these guys, if Rocco gets the start, they need to not let him get away. And when Cooper McDonald was asking me last night, for some advice, and my biggest thing was for him is, what we talked about yesterday. Breathe. Don't get tight. Do what you do and find your breathing spots if you're racing in that lead. And it's different whenever you're you think you're going to win and battling at the front's a different feeling.
As we take a look at the riders on their final lap before it is race time, let's take a look at the starting grid. A couple of guys to look for that second row. Dominic Doyle, Jackson Blackman, Toby Komsuk, all teammates on that Robin Engineering. Dominic Doyle getting that guest ride. Twins Cup rider that we see him in the Lico Molly Juniors. Also Carl Price in there as well. But that second row is going to give them a challenge today.
Really good. If they get, a good start from the second row, you never know. I mean, it could easily, somebody fall back to 5th or 6th that first lap.
Canadian Darren James out there. Sam Weiss back there on road number 4. Carl Price, mentioned the other Robin Engineering rider, 13th qualifier, looking for his best finish this year. Twins Cup, several guys not making the trip out west. I believe there's also a Grand National final going on at Barber, which we were at about a month ago. I know Chris Parrish out there trying to represent as well. I know Jason Madama planning on coming back next year on an Aprilia. I think he sold his bike this year, but might not have the entire full field that we've seen throughout the season, but I think this may be one of the closest and one of the best races we've seen all season.
I think so too, especially just how we've seen the lap times with these guys all weekend. Just been so close, swapping positions on the top of the leaderboard pretty much every lap. The track was a little wet this morning, in the other classes it's perfect now. There's no worry about, is the track good? Is it slick? Is it green or whatever? We know the Superbike guys just had their race. Their lap times were pretty much almost the same as yesterday, maybe a little bit off, but now there's been another 20, 30 minutes for the track to dry.
Still some championship finishes that are trying to move up. As you look at Rocco Landers, he already took that championship a couple of rounds ago, but riders like Trevor Standish trying to get by Jason Badama, who's not here. There's always a race, and trying to get points. You got to get in that top 15. Dustin Walbon, I believe, should be the 15th qualifier. You want to get points here, but these guys, they want to end 2020 in a big way. They want a win. Let's find out who's going to get the start. Cooper McDonald, for the very first time, is a pole center. The 20 on the right, racer's right. Get a decent jump, a bad start.
Rocco.
Holy smoke, Rocco Landers is going to get ghosted into that first turn.
Oh, he
might be fourth or fifth.
No, he might fall out closer to seventh or eighth is Rocco.
Looking like one of the Robham Engineering bikes into second now. Is that Jackson Blackman possibly in there? You see Caleb DeCarroll back in fourth.
Dominic Doyle into second. Jackson is in third, and
then
Caleb
there's Rocco
fourth,
back in
and
fifth.
then there's Rocco.
This is going to be fun.
Yeah.
And Cooper, like I said, you're not going to win it on the first lap. You could lose it out there. He's kind of got to, if he was thinking about this race last night when he's going to bed, I mean, he's got to be fighting the nerves right now.
Yeah, and these guys, hopefully they just don't get in this huge battle and let Rocco catch up in the first couple laps. If they could just get together and try to pull away would be ideal. We've talked about, this weekend maybe Rocco wanted to start in the back.
Yeah.
Have to come forward. Well, he didn't have to this race, but he's a little further back than we've seen previously.
He's going to get his opportunity to work through the pack. Much like we saw Caleb DeCarroll have to do it last year, making the move on the inside. Dominic Doles, they go into the corkscrew for the first time. DeCarroll back there in third, watching it all unfold as well on his Yamaha. Watch that pink machine. He is fast, too.
Rocco tried to make a move to also getting into Rainy Curve on Jackson. But you can see these guys just dicing it up. They had a little bit of a gap, and now they've let the pack catch up to them.
What's the way to beat Rocco? I mean, the we think is you got to get out in front and try and pull away. That's what Dominic Doyle, who's been racing him all year, that's what he knows. That's what he's trying to do right now.
I mean, and he's looking good. Now Caleb made the move up into second, and Rocco made up one spot, but he's still outside the right there at the top five.
Caleb DeCarroll goes to the underneath, trying to get underneath there of Doyle, and does just that.
Showing that power, that Yamaha.
Strength of the Yamaha, then the Suzuki, another Yamaha. They're actually sister bikes as far as the motor is concerned, Caleb DeCarroll and Cooper McDonald. But DeCarroll's bike, that was supposed to be a fresh bike at Indianapolis. The motor didn't last. They had to put the bike that's got many hours on it. Again, Sam McDonald builds that motor. He builds them strong, and obviously it's strong enough to take the lead.
Yeah, and you can just see, they're starting to pull away now. Cooper McDonald, for whatever reasons, kind of slipped back a little bit. But you can see these top two guys trying to get away.
I think he's trying to listen to us and saying don't get too aggressive at the start. Maybe he's trying to do that breathe and that relax because you're not too far up there. But
and you see Rocco just moved into fourth and gave Jackson the follow me sign. He doesn't want to get in the battle either and keep letting these guys pull away.
A little bit different line there between McDonald and Dominic Doyle, there's Jackson Blackman, the 18, but Caleb DeCarroll had to work up from 13th to first, and he did it in only a few laps and taking his first win in Twins Cup last year. He did it in front of a bunch of friends and family. Garrett Gerloff, who's now racing World Superbike, one of his best buddies down there, congratulating him. This would be a good feather in his cap if he could win the final race of the year as well. Is that Trevor Standish?
Yeah,
I'm seeing sneak into there. The 16 in the back of your picture has kind of come out of nowhere. He's trying to tag onto those Robham bike, the Robham bike of Toby Kamsuk. Standish looking pretty good.
He had a good first couple laps.
His best lap, that 133.55. But look at Caleb DeCarroll, 131.79
That's
that last
a
time.
new race lap record for the Twins by a tenth.
That's smoking it too. I mean, he is wanting to get some separation, but he's really not pulling away from Dominic. So let's take a look at the start. Watch the rider in the center picture, 97. Wheelie kinged it.
Up the clutch a little bit, and then and he does another wheelie too, and you can just see all the other guys tucked in, grabbing gears, and just going right by him.
And unlike that, you kind of got to be careful, I think, on one of his Lickamolly Jr. bikes, especially doing starts, and we've seen him actually burn a clutch up doing starts. That's not the case there. He definitely dumped it.
We haven't seen that all year either. He's usually a guy that gets pretty good starts, but he was fell back a couple spots. He's been patient. Now he's caught right up to Cooper in third, and looks like he's trying to make a pass. And the two guys in the front are starting to kind of get a little bit of a gap on these two.
One thing we haven't talked about is Rocco Landers trying to get by Cooper McDonald. He's going to go to the inside here, into the left. And Cooper kind of closes him off there, and he does not want to give up that spot. We haven't talked about Rocco. The last time we saw him on track was a warm-up this morning. He went down in the Lickamolly Juniors, a little wet surface, and we questioned his bike definitely wasn't good, but was he physically okay? He said yes, at least.
Yeah, he looked like he was okay and got up. So, you can see he's working hard. He's trying to, get a gap. He knows now he's about a second behind the leaders. So if he wants to, especially as fast as Caleb DeCarroll and Dominic Doyle has been going all weekend, you can't really spot him that much time, because it's going to be difficult to catch him.
And Cooper McDonald, who's been extremely fast this weekend, may be difficult to pass too, because we know he's got that motor, but so does the Suzuki of 97. A strong run by Rocco.
Good move by Cooper. Is not going to let Rocco have it.
No, and you can see when he's starting to do that inside lean pretty early, he's just saying, nope, it's not going to happen.
And Dominic Doyle, what was him last lap, 31.5. That's a track record too. So you can see how hard these guys are pushing every single lap, trying to, break the track record each lap, and it's going to be a pretty good race, just like we thought.
And Rocco Landers had the overall fastest Sector 1, a 23.90. You compare, has about a tenth quicker than Caleb DeCarroll's time out there. But even though he's having these fast sectors, he cannot get by the Bartcon Racing number 20 of Cooper McDonald. And Cooper's going fast, but I think Rocco could go faster if he had clean track in front of him.
Yeah, I think he could a little bit. He just, you talked about that crash. It just looks like he's just missing a little bit. He almost wants to make the pass, and then he thinks twice about it. Dominic Doyle's got the lead.
So the 25 taking over position. Robham Engineering has a bevy of riders here this weekend, and the fastest of them all is Dominic Doyle. He's riding two classes. Is this a class we maybe see him in next year? I know he's got some Twins Cup interest. I know that they're wanting actually to have, two races a weekend, that whole team. They said it sure would be better if we can get the recognition and the notoriety of having two opportunities per weekend like all the other classes get.
Now you can see Cooper's kind of got his head down a little bit. It looks like he's kind of brought the two leaders back a little bit, and Rocco's a little bit behind him. And if Rocco's going to make a pass, this next corner is one of the best places we've seen, but he's just not close enough.
He keeps getting choked off in that last turn. He's going to have to do something different than what he's doing there.
He's just going to have to do it. Don't kind of get there and hesitate. Just make the pass.
But if you know you're not close enough, don't go to that inside line, right? I mean, there's time to do it and a time not to.
Cooper's on a good lap. Personal best, first sector. Purple, second sector, and you can see how he's closed back up.
So maybe maybe he's listening to Roger Hayden. You've got some experience, and you said, just stay with them at first and kind of relax. I think he did that. That's his relax. Now it's time to go. We're about the halfway point for this race, so it's a perfect time. If you can hold on to that lead group halfway and know that you still got more in there.
Oh, it's definitely the best ride we've seen from him all year by far.
Yamaha power coming on again. Suzuki, Yamaha, and Suzuki, your top four. Caleb DeCarroll in that tuck. Watch him on Dominic Doyle here. Goes to the inside into turn one, heading up into turn two. Whoa, it goes for the front. I mean, there's no here, I'm going to hug my inside line. Cooper McDonald had the fastest overall time, but Caleb DeCarroll, that was an excellent pass. Yeah,
you see the top three now. They're all over each other, and Cooper's going to want to try and make a move quick. He's got, not only is that a racetrack record, that's a overall record for this track by a lot.
Rocco Landers had the fastest overall sector number one that time around. Rocco's in the mix as well. He just cannot get by Cooper McDonald. He's running out of laps.
Turn 5.
I think this is it. This is the time. Cooper's still not backing out. He's rolling around that outside. He knew he was beat that time.
And you can see he killed his momentum and tried to move over a little bit to block that drive, and we'll see what Cooper now, if he can, strike back pretty quick.
We thought the Yamaha was faster. There is Cooper going to the outside. Oh, man, I thought that was going to get ugly. We saw the power of the Yamaha at the start of the season at WeatherTech with Caleb DeCarroll. Well, they found some speed in the Suzuki. Well, now Rocco Landers is seeing a couple of Yamahas battling it out, and he's not the only Suzuki. Dominic Doyle, a guy he's very familiar with, on a guest ride is showing that this could be a four-way battle for the win.
And Rocco's on a tremendous lap right now. I mean, he's already reeled these two back in.
Choking it off a little bit was Doyle. That time, Rocco's going to get a good drive. Rocco, good drive down the front straightaway. Let's see if he can get that tuck. Look at him trying to go single file. There goes that run. Does he go outside or in?
Inside.
Making that move to the inside. Just had too much ground to make up. Thought better of it. Good idea.
You know, moved up. He caught up to him. Now he might just want to stalk him for a lap and see where he can make his move.
One of the favorite places we've seen so far is actually going into the corkscrew. Cooper still holding on to that front trio there. The 20, don't count him out of this race. Caleb doesn't even know what's going on behind him. He doesn't want to know what's going on behind him.
And Caleb just ran wide there and turned forward.
A little bit of a mistake. They found something, or they were trying to find something out of that Yamaha and kind of went the wrong direction, I think. He had a great setup last year. They went back to that setup, and he's fast
and you can
once
see
again.
the Yamaha, this part of the track, when it starts going uphill, like here at the corkscrew, you know, just how the power of the Yamaha is. You can see it right there, you know, up those hills. It just has a little bit more.
Rocco playing follow the leader behind Doyle. Rocco on the 97. SportBikeTrackGear.com, Road Racing World.com, Suzuki. Rocco Landers, the two-time champion, Liqui Moly Junior Cup. He's the 2020 Twins Cup champion, and all four of these racers want to win.
Dominic Doyle, last corner.
He's got to commit and go to the inside. Doyle just in front, takes it over. Now look at the speed. Does he choke off too much speed?
He ran him wide.
Oh, great job. And now
you also, Cooper can get by.
Look at that. DeCarroll just got too far wide. Cooper's going to get a slingshot, or is he? There goes the 97 to the inside. Rocco Landers, he's going to get closed off. And now watch what happens with Caleb DeCarroll. He's going to have all that speed to carry.
You can see that passing the last corner, you know, how it just bunched everybody back up.
You know, if you dive underneath someone and you don't have that run out, I mean, you better make the pass. You're going to lose a lot of ground. That time we saw DeCarroll push so wide that other guys were able to drive underneath it.
And look at Dominic Doyle, has his head down, you know, already trying to break the pack up.
Get it, son?
The first part of the track, it just seems like Cooper McDonald struggles. He always falls back. Then from the corkscrew to the start-finish line, he can kind of catch them back in. But the top two starting to get a little bit of breathing room on the...
3 races this year. Dominic Doyle's had 2 fourths and a third.
There goes Rocco into the corkscrew.
Ooh. And on that inside where we expect it, and drives underneath. Now, can he pull away? We have not seen anybody actually gap, and it looks like DeCarroll got a good run down getting into rainy curve. What have we seen? 4 different leaders? Nobody's pulled away. Rocco Landers, look at it and letting off that brake, looking way ahead. Now we're looking at +0. We know that. It's going to stay that way. Showing him the times. He said a 30.8 that last time around, or his best time is what he can do. He did a 31.2 that last time.
Look at all of them, those 4 bunched up. See, this is the part of the track where Cooper catches up, and then these next 2 corners, it just seems like he struggles a little bit because once they head into turn 5, he's always just a little bit back.
Dominic Doyle going to town right now on Rocco Landers, trying to learn if Rocco's doing his fast. Rocco looking around because he kind of feels that he knows the presence of Doyle. Doyle might have a spot that he wants to pick him off, but if Rocco's going to be faster, he's only got a few laps to understand where he is faster. Same thing for Caleb DeCarroll. He's going to school on the 2 riders in front of him.
And you see Dominic and Doyle, I mean, he looks racy, you know.
Yeah.
It looks like he's trying to make a pass anywhere he can.
Dominic Doyle, the South African. You have the Texan on the pink bike. Caleb DeCarroll, the Oregonian, out in front. And Rocco Landers. Cooper McDonald out of Tulsa, Oklahoma. Labart Khan Racing, number 20, back there in fourth. Down the front straightaway once again. Good run by Rocco, as well as the Suzuki just behind. I know Mike Koppelos building the engines on that bike. There's the Yamaha trying to power down that front straightaway. It looks like Doyle with a good run. He thinks better of it this time.
They're coming up in lap traffic, too. It's going to be interesting to see who can get through them the quickest and the easiest.
Well, didn't we hear that? I think it was Caleb DeCarroll last year. It might have been one of the races this year. Actually, it was where he pulled by Rocco. Remember at RoadAmerica? He said, I saw the lap traffic. I knew I had to work through them better than Rocco.
And they pretty much dropped Cooper McDonald now.
Yeah.
He's tapered off a little bit.
He might have had an uh-oh moment. Last year, he was running up front and had a big uh-oh because he had too much tire pressure in both the front and rears.
All of them catching the lapper, turn 5.
Cliff Ramsdale doesn't know about this
He's
freight
going to
train.
get passed on both sides.
Oh, and Doyle coming into him. He had to make an adjustment, and that's going to give a good drive by DeCarroll. Look at them all driving into that left-hander, heading back uphill once again. A good run by Caleb DeCarroll, a good run by Doyle.
More
and
lap traffic ahead.
Another rider right in the corkscrew as well. Gino Angela. Oh, look at him slingshotting around and really nowhere to go.
Good job by him. He's seen the blue flag and scooted over.
That was perfect. And the blue flag means, hey, heads up, the leaders are coming by. Watch out. There's a race going on. You're not in it. Who's going to win this race with 3.5 laps to go? Who do you think's going to
we
win?
haven't seen anybody, really beat Rocco head-to-head at a
except for the man that's two brothers behind.
Except the RoadAmerica. So it's going to be, we're going to see. I haven't seen anybody behind him look this good and this aggressive because Dominic Doyle's trying to pass him any chance he gets.
Once again, that run, and also running out of times, Caleb DeCarroll. He's kind of been stalking that whole time, but you can't wait to the last lap. You might not have an opportunity.
Oh, yeah. If the opportunity comes, you can't wait, especially with only 3 laps to go.
8 wins on the season for Rocco Landers. 3 wins on the season for Caleb DeCarroll. Dominic Doyle looking for his first victory in Twins Cup. He's currently second. The same manufacturer as the bike in front of him, but they're both on Suzukis. Dominic Doyle with that guest ride as well. He's not a full-timer in the Twins Cup, but he's showing you that he can handle the extra horsepower.
It's going to be interesting, too, as these guys come up into more lap traffic. As the race goes on, it's going to be harder to get by each lapper because every lapper that you come up on, the next one's going to be a little bit quicker than the one that you just passed.
Dominic Doyle, 19 years old, behind the 15-year-old Rocco Landers. Caleb got a couple years on him. Don't want to let the cat out of the bag on that. Not too sure. Caleb's got to do it quick. He's running out of time.
Caleb ran in a little deep in the last corner. You could see he fell back a little bit and tried to make it all back up in one corner.
2 laps to go. The next time around, they'll get the white flag. And again, working through lap traffic. I mean, they're already into the top 15 spots. I mean, these are guys in points-paying positions. They're not going to want to back down.
They're not, and they're going to be, not that easy to pass. They all catch him. He got out of the way, get the blue flag. Perfect.
I think DeCarroll, 23 years old. So he's the elder statesman of this triumvirate in front of him. Rocco looks to the left. He's glad that Dominic Doyle went to the right, but he looked to the left now and see Dominic Doyle. Lap and a half to go here. Rocco Landers, Dominic Doyle, Caleb DeCarroll. 1, 2, and 3. It's been this way most of the race. These 3 riders had been 4, separated by less than half a second.
Dominic Doyle, every corner he's looking
it.
up the inside to try to make a pass.
Try to get that little shorter distance, right, too?
He's going to have to, when he does it, just go for it, and not like try to ease by him, but just make the
Here's one of them spots coming up in just a minute. Turn 11 going to be coming up.
Carry your momentum out of turn 10.
And now there's one more lapper here. This is it. Could this be the one? He dives in, and this could actually help DeCarroll, too. Look at DeCarroll back in the picture.
If Dominic Doyle gets in there and knocks them both wide, Caleb could be there to capitalize on it.
No doubt about it. The white flag is out, and there's 2 lap riders right in front of Rocco Landers. Rocco works through one. He's still got one more to work. If he can click them off, and look at DeCarroll trying to get underneath Doyle. That's really going to slow those 2 down. Rocco had all that corner speed. And boy, look at neither one of the other guys are backing out of it either. They pushed it harder than they ever had into that second turn.
They definitely lost a little time, but you can see now, Dominic Doyle with his head down. Lost his drive because passing that lapper on the inside kind of put him offline a little bit.
1.833 CJ knows Yamaha dropped off just a bit. Caleb DeCarroll. Rocco's been so good at always keeping that, that fast pace through the entire race, but so has Dominic Doyle in this race. He's been equally as fast as Rocco Landers. Equally doesn't win you the race. It gets you in second.
And you can see whenever he's falling back, he's been catching up.
It's only a couple more places. He can do it heading into the corkscrew. I don't think he's going to have the time.
No.
He doesn't have the space here. That means that last turn. And do you go underneath? Do you look for the drive? Because Rocco's probably going to protect it.
I would go under the inside if I can get close enough. But he's going to have to go really good through Rainy Curve. And next corner, turn 10, he's going to go through there so fast and just let his momentum carry him to the left. But it just looks like he's a little too far back.
He's going to have to be faster than he's ever been. Here it is into that final left-hand turn. Look at the Yamaha back there.
Rocco made a
bobble.
mistake.
He's going to not get the drive he's looking for. But Doyle, he swings wide. He's trying to get that slipstream and coming through there. 8 wins. No, it's 9 for Rocco Landers. He takes the Twins Cup. Dominic Doyle in second by 1/10 of a second. 2/10 ahead of Caleb DeCarroll, with Cooper McDonald going to come across in fourth. And evidently he had a mechanical issue that we didn't know about. But how about that race? We thought we were going to see a close one, and we were not disappointed, Roger Hayden.
No, that's one of the best races we've seen all year. Those guys, that top three, just so close the whole race. I mean, when somebody would fall back, they would dig deep and, catch back up.
Jackson Blackman in fifth, Trevor Standish, Toby Komsuk in seventh. Wow. Can you hear him screaming in the helmet? I can. That was a strong run. I would love to have seen that all year long, and we did at times with himself and Dominic and Caleb DeCarroll, who's showing you how to wheelie on that uphill. Think about it. Rocco Landers only has one more race left in 2020. And he wasn't even supposed to be here. He's supposed to be at the Red Bull Rookies Cup.
He wasn't even supposed to be in this class this season.
This year at all. You're exactly right.
It came a week before the season.
Hey, good job, SportBikeTrackGear.com and RoadRacingWorld.com, Suzuki, for putting in the funds for having him out there, because I was thoroughly impressed. And I expect to see, another good battle next year, especially if Dominic Doyle races in this. I know he got that guest ride by the Robham Engineering crew this week, and he did not disappoint. Actually, I think they had 3 or 4 bikes in that top 10. Komsuk, Blackman, another top 5. They had 2 of the top 5 riders. Carl Price, I believe that's a career best for him, also on the Robham bike back in 12th. Justin Felice in the top 10. A good finish by him this week. Rocco could burn it up now. I'll be surprised if he didn't light up that Dunlop just a little bit.
If he wants to pay another fine.
Oh, did he have to pay one?
It's $150. Best $150 you can spend, though.
Well-deserved race. Remember, he was in 4th for quite a while.
I mean, just his racecraft is just, even in practices, we see him set himself up, where he can use other people for a tow. They'll pull him around, and, his racecraft is just good. Even this week here, whenever he fell back a little bit, got a terrible start, he was patient and, worked his way through, and whenever the opportunities came, he took it.
And the way he did it, he was going to school early on, and I think he was kind of choking that bike down a little bit too much, trying to stab it into places without fully committing, like you said. And he finally said, it's not going to happen like that. I'm going to have to keep my speed like I would in the Junior Cup, and trying to find a place to pass, running it, underneath somebody and flowing through there a little bit quicker.
Yeah, just being patient. And that's why he's won so many races, because he's such a good racer. He knows how to control the race at the front, and he can also knows how to, if he doesn't get a good start, work his way through traffic pretty not rushing it.
I asked Stoney, I said, where do you go from here? Because unfortunately, he's not able to run Super Sport, or he's not able to run the Stock 1000 because of his age. I think it's crazy that a guy can race 450 Supercross at 16 years old, but yet Rocco Landers, who's won 3 championships in MotoAmerica, and maybe they will make a change. Because if you're qualified enough to ride, like if you're Marc Marquez quality, they found a way to let him race, or other racers that are a little bit younger than those age classifications. I don't expect people 15, 16 years of age to be able to ride 1,000 or a Super Sport bike, but there's a rider who definitely has the qualifications that could do it if allowed to. But Rocco Landers takes another victory here today, and what a run working his way through the pack, Jamie.
Well, it didn't come with the best of starts for Rocco Landers, but you were able to race your way back to the head of this field. What can you say about the competition today?
It was great. Dominic and Caleb and Cooper kept me honest, and Jackson at the beginning there. Oh my God, dude, I can't thank my SportBikeTrackGear.com, RoadRacingWorld.com Suzuki team for working all weekend. We weren't top of really any session this weekend. It's been pretty hard, but we didn't get the best start. We were pretty far back, and I just tried to work my way up, and at one point they were getting away, and I had to just try to get in front of Cooper and pull him back up, or pull myself as well. So, oh my God, I'm stoked. That mistake in the last corner, I thought that was gonna cost me the race, but I had a pretty good last lap, so I felt really great, and can't thank my team enough.
We weren't expecting to see you out here for the full season. We weren't even expecting to see you out here this weekend. What have you learned over the course of 2020 that you think will prepare you for the rest of your career?
Dominic and Caleb and everyone else have taught me so much this year. It's been such a great racing with them, and I hope to be racing with them on something next year, so it's awesome.
Our race winner, our Twins Cup champion, Rocco Landers.
Strong run for Rocco, the champion, and Dominic Doyle over there to the side. I know he's disappointed not getting that victory, but he gave her hell, boy. I mean, the 25 was on it.
I mean, even Caleb DeCarroll, that last lap has, the sector 3 and 4 was the fastest of anybody through the whole race.
Yeah, and went 130 miles an hour also for a trap speed, so we know that bike has some speed. Dominic finishes second, Jamie, but I mean, that was one heck of a run.
It was. You can see the disappointment on his face, but this is a respectable group of racers. Dominic, it's the end of the season. The race today, we know how badly you wanted it. What does it mean to you, though, to still finish out on the podium?
Yeah, it means so much to get on the podium, especially after the Robin team gave me a great bike to ride for the last few rounds, and I just can't thank them enough for putting a good bike under me every weekend and allowing me to do my best. Yeah, we went into the race, and I just wanted to get up front early and just see how it goes, and it played out. Me and Rocco were 1-2 most of the time, and Caleb did a couple passes up the inside, but I just put my head down and tried to get to the finish first. Came up a little short, but can't thank everyone enough for getting me here.
After finding some success in the Twins Cup this year, when you didn't start the season racing in this category, can you say anything about your plans for 2021?
We're not 100% sure yet. We're going to be doing a lot of training in the off-season at Indy Motorsports Ranch, but we're still deciding what we're doing next year, and something will be coming out shortly.
Dominic Doyle, congratulations on a second-place finish.
Yeah, strong run for the Robin Engineering Ruthless Racing Suzuki of Dominic Doyle. And as you mentioned, Roger, Caleb DeCarroll was in there in the mix and having the overall fastest time in Sector 3 and 4. That last lap, we saw that one bobble of him. I know he wanted to really kind of be there at the end.
Well, for Caleb DeCarroll, you led a lot of the race. You had a strong start to it as well, and it wasn't even on the #1 engine that you wanted to race with. What happened?
Yeah, unfortunately, at the beginning of the weekend, we had a little problem with the motor, but we put in the motor that we've been running all year. It's still super strong. Huge thank you to Sam McDonald for all the engine work, and yeah, I mean, my bike was running awesome today. I got off to a great start, and I kind of wanted to try and pull away at the beginning, but I think doing so, I kind of wore out my tires a little bit quicker than I wanted to. So yeah, this was a huge learning year for me. Being consistently on the podium week in and week out has been amazing, and I got to give a huge thank you to 1833 CJ Knows for giving me the opportunity to be out here for the full season, and really wanted to end it with a win, but we'll come back strong for next year and just be training super hard in the off season to make sure that we can make 21 better season yet. So
it was 9 podiums and 3 wins in the 2020 season for you. You end up second in the overall point standings. What stands out to you as the best memory?
One of the hardest parts of 2020 came at Road Atlanta. Me and Rocco were dicing it up pretty good, and everybody was riding really good all year. So it was definitely a tough season, but Road Atlanta was one of the hardest races, and I ended up with the victory. So it was a hard-fought victory and probably one of my favorite memories from the 2020 season. So
It's Caleb DeCaro, our second place in points, third place on the racetrack today. Nice job.
Yeah, CJ knows how to pick them. 1, 8 through 3, CJ knows. And remember, it was Caleb DeCaro who started the year off with 3 out of the first 4 races with victories. Let's take a look at the Twins Cup race here.
Watch the guy in the middle.
Mr. Papa Wheatley, twice. We knew he was going to get aggressive on the start watching that first lap. We knew it was going to be a fun race.
Cooper McDonald from pole getting a good start, and then, right on the first lap, Dominic Doyle ready to try to take the lead.
He said it. He knew he needed to get out in front, and he was trying to pull away like so many have tried. Got the pressure, a couple of inside moves by Caleb DeCaro
Now
on that big
you
buck.
keep seeing the 97 getting a little closer in each picture as he was picking the guys off.
And there's a time where he goes underneath and wasn't able to make a pass. Made a couple of those moves, but finally that speed, that flows.
He got the run out of turn 6. That momentum carried him up into the corkscrew, and he made the pass. And even when they cut the lappers, the lappers didn't play a big part in it. But the last corner, you see Rocco made that mistake on the back shift and almost ran too wide.
But he went to school, didn't he? I mean, he kept trying to make places and it just wasn't happening. And he didn't throw it away, doing something dumb. He thought about it and regrouped and gave it another shot, and it paid off.
And before he went out, too, he had that big crash. And he hasn't been out since that crash. So maybe those first couple laps, he's just kind of feeling things out.
That's exactly right. As it's our final race of the year as we take a look at the finishing results for today. And that should change some of the overall for the year. I believe Jackson Blackman and Toby Komsuk were only separated by 1 point, but you see Darren James and Sam Weiss. Sam Weiss, good job finishing in the top 10. Excellent run, Sam. And now let's look at the final points result of 2020 in the Twins Cup. Of course, Rocco Landers with the championship, and Caleb and Hayden Schultz. I wish Hayden Schultz was here. He would have loved to have been in that mix, And
he would have been right in it, too.
Tig Hobbs, another rider, if he's on a full season. We saw how fast he was this year, and it looks like Jackson Blackman actually 1 point ahead of Toby Komsuk because he finished ahead of Komsuk in this race. So that's the way they'll finish for 2020. Get ready for 2021. Cooper McDonald there in 6th. And again, as we've talked about it before, there's probably going to be a few Aprilias in the program. There's the champions podium, and Rocco Landers got his Twins Cup helmet from HJC. And there's another one right there, the all-white, and his Laguna Seca trophy along with the championship trophy as well. You always want to win at Laguna, and now he's done another.
It's one of those special places that definitely has a different feeling when you win there.
Congratulations on a fantastic season, everybody. Please hold those trophies up high.
Already has his name on it. He'd already decided that championship at the last round. There's Chris Ulrich. Always seems to be up there with the team. As well as, again, this is for the championship. So representing Hayden Schultz over there on the right side. Look at Chris bringing the whole crew up there. Takes a village. Congratulations, Rocco Landers takes the race win as well as the championship for 2020. We still have plenty more racing still here on MotoAmerica Live Plus. Stick with us.